14box.com here. So CNN to debut a new streaming service in early 2022. Now, the reason why this is actually even worth talking about is that this is pretty much the route that almost probably any major media company is probably going to go down the route of a subscription model, right? Like Disney Plus, like ESPN Plus, like Netflix, like Hulu, because they know that it's actually way better for them to keep their audience in like basically a secluded area to also get the consistent revenue, right? And it makes perfect sense for like a news company to do something like this as well, because you got to think about it, right? CNN has been losing money for a very long time, and this will basically be able to sustain probably a lot of the company because they don't have to worry too much about growing the business or worrying too much about what they say or how crazy they say their stuff, right? They can simply focus on catering to the audience that cares about them, right? Which means they could pump out millions and millions of dollars every single month to an audience that just wants to hear them, right? So that's something to really think about, right? It's like for anyone who ends up like creating like a massive media company, this is a route that a lot of people should take just because it allows you to be very independent from basically any social media, right? Because for example, right, this would allow CNN to basically say some extremely outlandish things and not really care about it at all. Because for the most part, the only people that are really going to be listening to them are people that are truly believing in everything that CNN says on their streaming service, right? And they're basically trapped in the CNN ecosystem. They're paying a subscription amount, who knows how much it is, like $10, $12, $20 per month. And basically, you're just helping CNN basically print millions and millions of dollars, basically spewing stuff, about basically whatever they want to spew, right? But let's get into the story and see what is talked about it. So CNN is making its push into streaming with a new subscription streaming service that will launch in the first quarter of 2022. So Jeff Zucker-led network said Monday that it will debut its new venture CNN Plus with 8 to 12 hours of original live content each day. CNN said the new content slate will be revealed in the coming months, as will the monthly price of the new streaming service. The unit, which will be run by CNN Worldwide's Chief Digital Officer, Andrew Morse, is already in the process of developing new shows and poaching talent. As part of the push, CNN announced that it will hire 450 employees across departments such as editorial, product, engineering in the next 6 to 9 months. And last week, Casey Hunt announced her departure from NBC, and within hours, reports bubbled up that the star reporter and anchor was heading to CNN to be part of the network's aggressive push into streaming. So the company said its service also will include library content such as Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown, Stanley Tucci, Searching for Italy, or Tucci. This is Life with Lisa Ling, and United Shades of America with Kamau Bell. So CNN Plus will not be a separate app, but subscribers will have access to the streaming service within CNN's existing branded app. That will likely change over time as CNN parent Warner Media is in the process of merging with Discovery to form Warner Bros. Discovery. Although nothing has been said, media experts buzzed in May that the media giants could bundle their streaming services, selling HBO Max, Discovery Plus, and now CNN Plus at a lower price when combined. The model would follow that of Disney, which owns Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. So the three distinct services are offered separately at different price points that start at $5.99 a month for Hulu and ESPN Plus and $7.99 for Disney Plus in order to attract more customers. So the company offers all three services for the total price of $14 a month. So we intend to launch CNN Plus as a standalone product, said CNN spokeswoman Emily Kuhn. Its early days and decisions about bundling are premature at this time and will be made down the road. Interesting. But I mean, okay, this isn't really that like surprising that CNN would do something like this. And again, like this is basically, they're eventually going to get to the point, and basically almost all these different media companies are going to get to the point where they are going to want people to simply stay a part of their ecosystem, or like, the family umbrella ecosystem, right? And they want people to pay a monthly subscription because it allows them to pretty much go continuously creating more and more content, not really caring about what they say or what they say about people, because they know that as long as they can secure that average return revenue per month, they really don't care, right? Because like if they're averaging, millions, and I'm just going to toss out a number. Let's say that they're averaging like $20 million a month from this service, right? That could fund a lot of things to the point where they could basically cut a lot of the fat out of CNN and basically just go super specific and hardcore on their premium thing, or like do basically a free version that leads to the premium thing, and they could just basically be printing money every single month, right? And you see a lot of companies, whether it be media companies or other types of companies like software companies, do something similar, right? Where they do everything they can to get a customer, right? And they're like willing to break even or even lose money to get a customer onto their subscription service, because they know over the long-term value or the lifetime value of a subscription-based customer can be almost unthinkable, right? Like this, like it could be basically people paying like $1,000 per year every single year for 20 to 40 years each person, right? So they know when it comes down to what is going to make CNN the most amount of money long term, is going to be something like this, right? It's going to be something like them producing premium content and basically just, doing their own thing nonstop forever, right? And just basically printing money. But what's always funny, right? They say like, oh, it's going to be like 12 hours of original content, right? And I think that's a little bit funny because pretty much any and every news website, whether you look at CNN, New York Post, Fox News, CBS, all these different things, even CNBC, right? And Forbes, all these different types of like news websites, they basically just copy and paste from everyone else, right? Like when it really comes down to it, if you're able to ignore all the opinions that is like spewed in every single one of these articles from every single website, if you just like completely ignore all the opinions that are put into it, they all say basically the same thing, right? So it doesn't actually matter where you get your news from, as long as you're aware that every single place has some sort of bias. And as long as you can like ignore that, it really doesn't matter. So I always find it interesting that all these different news companies can make so much money, right? So many of these news companies are worth billions of dollars, and are generating hundreds of millions of dollars every single year. And it's literally a copy and paste type of business, right? Which I just find so amazing and honestly kind of funny. If you were to like really break it down, it's just funny that this is basically an easy way to copy and paste and make billions of dollars.